You know, I'm looking at it thinking, right, this laptop's going to go out that window. And I think, okay, no, hang on, let's have a cup of tea.
It's great to have those coping mechanisms though, because in the past, maybe the laptop would have gone out the window, or you would have just given up
the
for
whole
the day.
table would have gone out the window.
Welcome everybody to another Outside Crowd podcast, and delighted that we've got, part of the crowd. We got Ryan.
Yo!
We haven't got Billy, unfortunately. He's
Happy
not with us.
birthday.
Oh yeah, he was an old boy recently. He was 30.
Back age now.
So he's not here, but we're delighted to have Jack Kent from Garden Creations.
Hello.
Delighted to have you here. Yeah, so it should be a good chat. Jack's a landscaper, so it's nice that we've actually got a landscaper in the room.
Lovely.
Got to get the cheap shots in. Anyway, so I think the first thing is just to like to hand it over to Jack and welcome here. And tell us a little bit about your company. When did you start? What do you do?
So I'm a landscaper. Here to teach Ryan a few lessons.
it's like AA, isn't it? I'm a landscaper.
So I own Garden Creations. I started it 9 years ago. It was just myself, Jack Kent Gardens back then. Did some maintenance, gardening, a bit of landscaping to get started. And I've just grown it from there. We're still a small company. Got 6 guys at the moment.
That's not a bad size company. You've got 6 people working with you.
No, it's not a small. It's definitely grown. For a long time, it was me and Jacob, who's still with me now. One of the
shout out to Jacob.
Yeah, one of the guys. And we over the last few years, it's really grown. Started doing some much bigger projects, and just gone from strength to strength, really.
So when you first started,
yes,
compared to where you are now in that time span, did you think when you first started you'll get to where you are now? Was that was that an unrealistic target, or have you got bigger than you thought you would in the time scale?
I guess I don't think I've ever really thought of it like that, but I've got bigger than I thought I would ever get. At the time, I'd worked since I was 15 at a place called Pashley Manor Gardens as a gardener, weekends through my summer holidays. Did that for 6 years. And then I went to uni for a little bit, didn't like it, dropped out, got a job in an office, and I thought I need to go and work outside again. I just thought I just need to do something that I enjoy.
Nice.
Didn't really think about where it was going to lead. I just wanted to do something that I enjoyed outside, working with my hands.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Few months in, maybe 6 months in, Jacob came on board.
How did he come on board then? Did you know him?
So I know Jacob. He's my now wife's sister's boyfriend.
Right.
So that's how I know Jacob.
Keep it close.
Keep it in the family. Yeah. So he was doing chefing, was struggling with that. So he came on, and as gone from strength to strength.
So he was the first person who joined you?
He was the first person. I had a few mates that helped out. My dad used to help out a little bit. He still does now and then.
Right. So how long were you going before you got Jacob on board?
I think about 6 months. It was mostly mowing lawns. We did a few bits of fencing. We did like the odd repointing a patio, bits and bobs here and there.
So at that point in time, was it very much like I don't know, like a new business? It was risky. You think it could go all right. It still could go belly up.
I guess so, but we got quite a few regular customers quite early on, had a few family friends, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I actually did some subcontracting for a friend for 1 day a week. And at the very start, I subcontracted for another company for a few days a week.
Right.
But that didn't last long. The subcontracting for a friend I did that for a good few years. Just for 1 day a week, helping out on an estate that we lived on.
But that gave you some... I don't know, some stable income.
Stability. Yeah, I would say
bread and butter, right?
Exactly. It was my bread and butter for years, and I actually worked at that estate doing all sorts of things way too long. Like we'd started doing some bigger projects, had a few guys, and I was still doing 1 day a week there, kind of out of loyalty to my friends.
Ah, fair.
And it was good fun.
But there's a lot to say for that. I mean, especially if you're a growing business, actually to have some sort of stability.
Yeah.
If you've got some regular work coming in, no matter what it is,
Yeah.
even if you're subbing to someone else, it's really useful.
Yeah. So for me, it was that I had to have it stable. I was living at home at the time, so I didn't have sort of big expenses. Started out of my old Volkswagen Golf. All my tools in the back, lawnmower on the passenger seat next to me.
Yeah.
Mondeo for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Longer
yeah.
wheelbase, mate.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Then maybe after I don't know, a year or two, I got my first van.
Did you have any plan at that point in time, sort of around about, say after about a year?
Yeah.
Did you ever sit down at any point and go, right, in 5 years' time, I want to have this, I want to be this size, or anything like that? Did you do any business planning or anything?
I don't think I necessarily had a business planning or thought in 5 years I want to do this, but I've always been the kind of person, like, if I get somewhere and I'm comfortable, I think, right, what's next? So I was constantly thinking, right, what can I do to kind of make this a bit better? We started doing some more land. We got our first proper full landscaping job, and I thought, oh, this is what we want to do. This is what we enjoy doing. I guess at that stage I maybe thought, okay, I can grow a bit of a business here. It's hard to do maintenance with, well, at the time I thought it was hard to do maintenance with like a couple of guys.
Yeah.
But
so how were you getting your work at that point in time?
I don't know. I don't think I put out any adverts. I think my mate Greg the guy who I subcontracted for, he had his business and was busy. He passed on a few customers. I got a few neighbours of those customers. It was all maintenance initially, and then we did landscaping for those customers.
Right.
And then it kind of went from there. And then we got, a couple of decent sized ones. We did a job for a lady who then recommended us to her friend, and we did quite a big job for her. And it just kind of went from there. And then before I knew it, we had some nice big jobs coming in. And
yeah, because it's always like everyone sort of says, they said, and before you know it, but there must be a lot going on from that transition from maintenance type work to where you've got reasonably big sized jobs coming in. So
yeah, I guess there was.
Yeah, because I think often you sort of forget how much work you actually did to get to that point in time. I'm just trying to think. What was the first big sort of landscaping job you did, and how did you get that?
First big one, we'd done a few full but really small gardens. The first ever full garden we did was a tiny little garden in Heathfield. But our first sort of big job was through Karen with Karen McClure.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
And we did the maintenance at a school, the Mead School.
Yeah.
And her children went there at the time, and the head teacher recommended us.
Right.
Oh, brilliant.
To do. It was her garden, sorry. It was the head teacher's garden. She recommended us. She said she would like us to build the garden. Karen had designed it.
Right.
And,
did you know Karen before that?
No, she hadn't. She'd been around. She'd been designing for a few years.
Yeah.
I believe, and this was about maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
Wow.
It's funny how things come together, isn't it? Some people at certain times and everything like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
You get good relationships.
Yeah. And we started working with Karen. We didn't. Yeah, she did amazing and did Chelsea and everything, and we were still a bit behind, but we caught up, and now we work with Karen regularly.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I consider her a good friend now, and the whole team.
Yeah, because she's built up a good company.
Amazing.
And it's funny. It's probably like in parallel with your journey as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
sort of time span.
She's certainly been ahead of us, and she's given me a lot of advice over the years and helped me a lot with growing my business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, we had I was struggling, had a tough time, and she was kind of like a mentor and really, really helped us.
That's lovely.
I think that's always good, isn't it? You can get advice off as many different people as possible, because
Definitely.
there's, it's trying to find out what works best for you.
Yeah.
Excellent. So once you've got those bigger jobs coming in, how did you keep them going? Was it mainly them working with designers to get you up to the place, sort of position you are now?
For a long time, I would say it was, we didn't have enough of a regular landscaping coming in to go full-time landscaping. So we were doing maintenance. We started to slowly cut back. In fact, we didn't necessarily cut back, but I got a couple of people to start helping out with some of the maintenance, which meant that some of us could break off and start doing the landscape, and we were doing it weekends, evenings, just
the usual,
just basically running two businesses at once. I had a landscaping business and a maintenance business, effectively.
Yeah.
Had all the tools piled up in the back of the van. We had so much stuff. It was hard work for a good few years, and then we got to the stage where I thought we don't need to do the maintenance anymore. So yeah, we scrapped it. I gave a few.
You found you had enough work coming in.
Yeah.
Got to enjoy what you love doing as well, if your passion's in the landscaping and creating those gardens,
absolutely,
you got to follow that passion.
Yeah, and it was too much to try and do both, and I wanted to keep the quality. I couldn't keep the quality and the maintenance if I wasn't necessarily there. So
how does it work now then? So you've obviously got your team of people. You're working with designers. What's your role in the company then? I know you're the director, but are you 100% on the tools? Do you have a more of a project management oversight, or how does it work?
I'm on the tools 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Normally 4 days a week. If I can be, I'll be on the tools 5 days a week.
6.
If I can. I stopped working weekends. I definitely, we stopped working weekends after doing about 5 years straight of it.
Yeah, fair.
So do you enjoy working, as part of the business rather than sort of on the business?
Yeah, I love.
Prefer that.
Yeah, because I know that I've had business coaches in the past, and there's a whole work on the business, not in the business. But I love working in the business.
Yeah.
But in the last year or so, I have started taking more time to work on the business and try and grow. In the last few years, I'd like to think I've grown a bit more of a brand with the new logo and vans and everything. So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because ultimately, there's always this thing about growing businesses. I know businesses aren't necessarily meant to sort of stand still, but at the end of the day, they're your vehicle to do whatever you want with.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's trying to find out what works for you. Where, because people have these things saying, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And I don't know, you don't have to be an Apple or a Steve Jobs.
Bora Bora, I think.
But it's always this thing, everyone's going on about growth and growth and growth, but it's like you might find a sort of position where you've got the company at the size you want and you like to maintain that.
Yeah.
You can work within it and that works effectively for you. So, it's not all about working in the bit, on the business rather than in it.
No, you don't need to grow for growth's sake, do you?
No, that's it. It's what makes you happy, really. You've got to be doing what's happy.
Definitely.
And if you're, coming out of doing, because everyone seems to go from the tools then into the management side. And if you don't enjoy that management side, then you wouldn't have started a job to become a landscaping manager.
No.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it's there always is that sort of stuff that goes with it, and you've got to do some of it.
Yeah.
So if you're in a position now where you've got a company that works quite well, you're quite happy in it. It sounds as if it's like, well, ask the question, and where will you be in 5 years' time? What do you want it to be?
I guess, kind of going back a little bit to what we just said. When I very first started, the whole point was I wanted to do something that I enjoyed, and I tried to remind myself that regularly. And if I start getting stressed out, I think, okay, we don't need to necessarily grow just for the sake of growth. I need to enjoy what I do. That is for me, and I think it's really important for me that the guys are enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. So that's got to come first, enjoying the work, the day-to-day life. So in 5 years, I want to still be enjoying it, definitely.
Yeah, no, because I was just going to say, come in with the obvious answer with a lot of this thing is like more money, and often the growth usually is the way of getting more money out of it, isn't it? Because you get to a certain point, and you can either try and get more profit out of it and eat more profit, or you can try and grow and get a larger turnover.
Sure.
Might keep your profit percentage the same, but because you've got a bigger company, you're getting a bigger return, this bigger return on a larger turnover. So I suppose the question is, without trying to get personal about money, do you make enough out of it? And is it one of those things where you want to look for 5 years to start thinking about, well, I want to drive a bit more money out of the company, so I've got, a pot of savings or something in 5 years' time.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, it is, and I often think for business owners, that's what you do it for. To some extent, you want to get that financial security as well.
I think in 5 years' time, I'd like to be able to just afford to pay for the things I've got at the minute.
Yeah,
just make it. It'd be nice to be able to. It'd be nice in 5 years. It'd be nice to be able to, like you said, Jack. Enjoy what you're doing. Still, the team enjoying it. Still, even more members of the team.
Yeah.
The jobs are running smoothly, and it's just being able to afford. If you go, do you know what? We've had a van break down, or this. Just be able to afford to fix it. Without any worries, without even blinking twice, just put that in the shop, fix it.
You've also got to get a reasonable amount of money coming out of it as well. You've got to get a return on it. Otherwise, your boys are happy, everyone's happy, and then you're left with nothing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies don't. That's where we get undercut a lot, because I don't think people realise. You've got to charge enough to actually make it worth your while. Because I could go and get a job for working for Ryan, and what would you give me, Ryan?
You pay peanuts, right?
You want to pay them bills?
You'd be better off running your own business, mate. What are you supposed to be teaching me?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, but that's it. No, you're bang on. You've got to make sure
it's got to be worth it.
Well, that's
I think
it's a lot of work we put into it.
And the knowledge, the experience, and the years. And like you said, you started in a small car.
Yeah.
Like myself, I started in a small car. It's got to, and that was years ago. And it's like now, look, it's like you have. And you have I see your vans come in when I pass you from 7-10 cars down. And you can always see how clean the cars are. I know all the guys are fantastic guys, and when, we have show gardens next to each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we should have said this. Ryan's my neighbour.
Yeah, we're neighbours. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I remember, I've spoken to a few people, and we've, I remember you went off. I think you went, I need to go to use the loo. I said, "Oh, sorry, I'll cover your shift." Yeah. And someone went into your garden. I was giving them your card because I know you do some great work. So. That comes, that does come to a point where you've got to be charging the right amount, for the great work that you do.
So how do you do that? How do you know what the right amount is?
I basically, I know what my overheads are. I know what I would like to get out of the company. I know how much work we can get done in a certain amount of time, and I just charge a course. I have a rate which I know that if I charge this much, then this covers all the expenses, everything else. It leaves a bit left in the business. It means I've got some money to invest in machinery and vans, which I've started to do in the last couple of years.
Oh yes, you have.
And in the last 2 years, I've had to increase my rates,
that's understandable,
regularly, but with my overheads have gone up a lot, and we've grown a lot.
Yeah. So do you things in terms of when you do your projects, if you're when you do your quote, you have like a time period for doing them. Do you monitor that time period, like sort of do some sort of cost value reconciliation to see how much it's actually cost you compared to your original quotation? Do you go down that length of analysis, or I don't know, how do you check and maintain that sort of profitability? Or
I do. I probably don't do it in the way that I should, because I just do everything. I have, obviously, I know when I work out a job, I have spreadsheets and everything. I've got spreadsheets for my overheads, but for sort of like cost reconciliation,
if
I can say it. I just do it in my head. I know what we're spending. I know what labour costs for a week with 6 guys. I know what the vans and machinery and whatever costs. I know what we've got coming in for this job and how long. So I know, and I'll have a number of man days of the ideal amount of man days. Anything less than that's great, as long as the quality is to the standard. Anything less than that means, okay, we've got to start like working out if it's going to be profitable or not.
Because I was going to wonder, what sort of happens if you're on site and you're with, you're working on a job, and then a client is like not giving design information that you need, and it starts messing you around on site. Does that? Are you aware of that? Do you take that into account when you're doing your jobs as well? And do you try and get those back as variations, or how do you deal with those difficulties? Because they can suck up money.
They definitely can, and they do. It's if it's something that we've overlooked, and then obviously we take the hit and we do the work, and you just have to suck it up and get on with it, and not overthink it, and just do the work. If it's changes, then absolutely we go to the customer and we speak to them before. We'll price it up at the time, and
So I mean, it's like you run a nice company. Obviously, you have to have run it well, because it wouldn't have got to the size it's got to now, and have been as successful as it has without you running it well. So let's go back to that 5 years time question. What do you want it to be? How will it change? What do you think? What would you like to implement within it? What's the sort of?
I would like to have it a bit more systemized. I have started doing some systems, I don't know. have I?
I like a system. The system,
I've been looking at getting some office space where we have our yards. There's some offices, like as part of the same complex, effectively. Unfortunately, there's none available at the moment, but we're hoping to get one when one comes up, just to have a bit of office space and get someone a couple of days a week in the office doing, just doing bits and bobs, helping organise diaries.
So you haven't got any admin support or anything like that at the moment?
No.
Right, fair play to you.
No, I do it all.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find it a lot, but if I can keep on top of things, normally take a day a week. I've started trying to. So what I have done, I guess, is I've rejigged my quote. How I quote for projects, and I have. I've made a way of speeding that up a lot.
Right.
Oh, nice.
So that saves me a lot of time, because I do spend a lot of time getting detailed quotes.
Yeah. I think that's an important part, isn't it? That.
So I guess I'd just like to have it so it runs itself, but
a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. Yeah. A well-oiled machine.
Do you want to be spending more? I don't know. There's one thing working in it. Do you want to spend more time away from the business to enjoy yourself and family and everything like that?
Yeah.
Go down 3 days a week or whatever.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I've got a baby on the way. Due in May. So I am going to be going down to 4 days for some time.
And 2 days sleep without the week.
Yeah. So I will be going down to 4 days for a while, to spend time with my family, which I feel really lucky that I'm able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to do that a few years ago. I guess in 5 years' time, I do really value time off work as well. Because it's not just the hours you're working. You spend a lot of time thinking about it when you're not on site.
Where were you when I rang you last time? When I rang you and I said, "Where are you?" Well, we ring when you up halfway up fucking the mountain.
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, you were.
Yes.
Where are you?
Why did you phone me up about some advice?
Well, most likely, Jack.
We phone each other.
Most likely, I don't know what it was. I was ringing for something. I can't remember what the hell it was. Most likely, what do you use?
I'm just at base camp. We're just about to. It was the summit day on Kilimanjaro.
What were you doing? Laying a patio?
Big job. Got international.
We got delivery coming in.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
So in that 5 years time thing again. So how many people would you like to have roughly in about 5 years' time?
13, I think.
13?
13. And the reason
thought
behind
about
that...
That was definitely thought.
No, I just thought of it just then. The reason being, the guys will laugh when they hear this, but it would be good. I think 2 teams of 5. They'll laugh because I used to constantly say the phrase 2 teams of 3. We'll have 2 teams of... It's now 2 teams of 5. So I like
2 teams for 13. 10. That's
I haven't finished.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry,
just shut up.
2 teams of 5. That's the landscapers. Two maintenance guys going around maintaining the gardens, which I am. I've got 2 interviews tomorrow with 2 guys. I'm just hoping to take on one maintenance guy.
Excellent.
To start doing, because we get asked it every job we do. Can you look after the garden? Now I'm going to say yes, we absolutely can.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So,
there was something.
And then one person in the office before you say that adds up to 12.
No, mate, I was
Plus myself.
Yeah,
Because that's quite a nice. So with that, I'm just sort of thinking then, because a team of 5, that's still quite a big sized team, which then would enable you really to take on some quite sizable.
Which projects. Is that's what we like. I
do that
thrive on doing big jobs. That's what I would rather have. Sort of 2, 3, 4 months worth of work.
Yeah.
With 5 or 6 guys.
Try and get into sort of like higher profile jobs as well. Not, because I imagine some of the designers around here have been involved in Chelsea and things like that. Is there ever a goal to try and build a job at maybe some of these shows and sort of exhibitions and things like that?
Yeah.
That'd be quite
It's on my list to try and get on to try and do a Chelsea garden.
That'd be awesome.
So any designers out there?
That's it.
Yeah.
Ryan's your man.
But the thing is, there's a lot of local designers, aren't there, that get involved with Chelsea as well. I mean, I don't know the designing scene that well, but just a few I've come across, and they've been involved in Chelsea. So
we work the 2 of the designers that we work with regularly, Karen and Camellia, both won medals at Chelsea.
That's excellent.
And actually, we've built both of their private gardens as well, which is something we're quite... So,
brilliant.
In a way, we've built 2 Chelsea designers.
Yeah, we're getting absolutely in there. That's awesome,
we're not in a way. We have.
That's great.
Which is cool. Yeah.
I think we would like a Chelsea designer on the podcast as well, wouldn't we? Right.
Yeah.
But
I will. I've said to Camellia, I will come on and do the chat with Camellia as well.
Yes. So we went for Cameron's. We had a great crack at Cameron's too.
Yeah, no, we will.
But they're all brilliant, aren't they? Because they present very well, and they've got some really interesting stories and things as well about the type of work that they do. But if you're going to get then to your 13 people, what do you do for marketing and things like that at the moment? Are you a Google ads or anything like that? Do you go down that route?
I've just set up Google reviews.
Right.
We've got our first 2 reviews, which I'm very proud of them. Very proud of the guys.
Did you write them yourself? Or?
No, I've got a mate to do them. £5 each. Yeah. They're brilliant. Oh yeah.
No, that's good. Because I don't know, on the podcast we had last week, the people from Open Door Digital were talking about all this and the importance of actually having reviews. It really is important.
I know. I've just started, and now I've made it a thing where when I send the final invoice, I send out a link to please give us a review.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also people would spend a bit more time doing them when they've done bigger work with you, because they know how important it is.
Yeah, no.
So having the quality of reviews.
Do you ask for them, Ryan?
We do ask for review. Yeah, we do ask for reviews. I mean,
but we haven't got as many as you should have you?
No, not really.
We've got to chase up.
To be fair, you're right. There is and this is quite difficult, isn't it? Some people just don't.
I know. I know. I don't. I think I've done maybe 1 or 2 reviews in my life. I'm not a review person.
I'm not personally either, but it's funny because when I speak to a client, I say it'd be lovely. Please do give us a review. It really helps us out. Yes. Yeah. And you think 6 months ago,
I know,
but people get a bit review tired, don't they? Because every time you buy anything, it's like you buy a pair of socks, and they say, "Can you buy a review? Review your customer experience." What? Buy a pair of socks. I think I took them to the till. The lady was nice. I checked it out myself.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Yeah.
But do you work on that whole sort of customer experience thing? Do you enjoy the client-facing side, and do you have like an approach to how you work with work with the customer as well? And you're not just the designer, but
Yeah, I think I really enjoy dealing with customers and the cold quote process. I'd say quite often by the end of a job, we're good friends with the customers. Bottles of wine at Christmas.
Yeah, right.
In fact, the last job he did, he wanted to take us all out for a steak dinner.
Oh,
which is nice. Yeah, I'm a vegetarian though.
Well, you know what to bring it. Give a doggy bag, give me a shout.
Yeah, just for the vegetables.
Yeah, no, sorry.
But that works. And I suppose the other thing, and then looking within your business, where are the big bits that you think you would like to, tweak or improve or work on to get to, your ideal target? Are there things, is it marketing? Is it sales? Is it process on site? What do you think are the areas where you look at as a company to improve?
I think lots of the processes and in getting the job over the line, the customer experience in a sort of like a professional way. I think that could be improved. We've started to get we have some nice documents we send out, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement in that.
Yeah. I think that's really nice to hear someone say, because it's like, even though you obviously do it very well now, but for everyone, isn't it? There's always room for improvement unless you're looking consistently to try and make improvements. Yeah. And they don't have to be big improvements, do they? Lots of small improvements across lots of areas is going to combine to something significant.
Yeah. I think that's all growing a business. Very few people who don't do it overnight. It's years and years of just changing tiny bits here and there, improving things slowly.
Yeah,
I think that's what growing a business is, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think especially with someone, because I always thought it's really hard just being a sole director company. How do you manage that from a personal perspective? Because there's an awful lot to do.
Yeah,
just from your own mental health and sanity perspective.
Yeah,
how do you find it, and how do you deal with it all?
Sometimes I'm really on it and I keep on top of things, and other times it's overwhelming and it gets too much, and I think, screw this, I'm going to go and live in Mexico. So sometimes I can do it, and then other times I don't. But the landscapers who work with us, the guys, my team, they love them all. They are brilliant, and they can help out on. I run everything by them.
Yeah.
Just any decisions, I talk to the guys. We go for a beer, and I say, "What do you think about this? Do you think?" And they are really, really helpful. I speak to my wife a lot. She's amazing. She runs her own business as well.
What does she do?
She's a yoga teacher.
Oh, excellent. What's the name of her company? Give her a shout out.
It's TP Yoga.
TP Yoga.
Yes. Although just give her a shout out, but she's 6 months pregnant at the moment. So she's not teaching a great deal. And probably won't be for a while. But she's actually set up another company with her sister, a mobile cocktail bar. So that would be the better one to have the shout out.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we'll have a shout out for that one. What's that, Botella?
Botella.
Oh, right.
Botella is how it's spelled.
Ah, right.
Yeah, Spanish.
Yeah. We'll struggle with English, so
yeah.
But that, it's quite interesting, because a lot of this thing, I always remember running a company. It's sometimes my head was just done in, completely. And it's like them working on the job, and then you're trying to do other things and trying to get work and trying to deal with staff, and sometimes your head's going to blow up.
Yeah.
And the jobs don't stop.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's always something with construction, isn't it? It's not a job you can leave and then it's going to be a different one. Like, you've got a different load of mail if you're doing a postman's job, or no disrespect to postmans. But, like when I did work at the gym, I finish at the gym and that's it. It's a new day. You don't get stressed for something that's coming up. If it's construction, that job's ongoing and you've got to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that can be...
It can be so... It's a roller coaster. When things are going well, it is great and I love it, and I will make plans, and then something goes wrong, and things always happen in threes. So one thing goes wrong, and then you get a phone call about something else, and then the van breaks down.
Yeah.
And it's always, So, and then you think, oh my God, this is hard.
What do you do to chill? And how do you get rid of that stress?
Yoga. You'd think, wouldn't you? I don't. Yeah, I should. I really should. What do? I'm ashamed to say it, but I play golf.
Yeah, that's not too good. JB,
No, I'm not ashamed to say I really love my golf.
Yeah, I love golf.
But
I mean, that's one way, because essentially what you're doing, you're getting out into the country, aren't you? And you're focusing on something else. I know when I hit the ball and then I'm swearing when I'm hitting it into the trees or whatever, but it's a walk in the country, isn't it?
It's just a good time to chat with your mates and
clearing your head.
When else would you go and go on a 4-hour walk with your mates?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be said for it, even just doing something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think you do have to find some way of releasing, letting off steam. What do you do, Ryan?
What do I do? Take dog for a walk. Do something like that, just go with Louis and just disappear into the woods. Yeah, I mean, I walk in the woods in the dark and in where I live. Sometimes I just like 10 o'clock. I'm like, right, cool, let's go, Louis. And look, one time I went walking back up and the pathway, I thought it was straight on. It went that way. So I ended up stuck underneath this yew tree and I was like, this is not the pathway. I couldn't find my way. So I grabbed Louis and I said, Louis, and I grabbed hold of the back of his tail. I said, go, go, go. And he dragging me through the thing. We found the pathway.
Oh, amazing.
God for that.
He got you out.
He did.
But it's always one of those things, isn't it? It's like getting out, once your head goes, it's getting out somewhere in nature. It's cutting off.
It goes a lot. So it's having tools in the backpack is always helpful because it is overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes it's a lot. And like JB said, it doesn't stop. It's not like, you do one thing and then you realise, oh, that's good because I know I've got time for the other thing that I must do. So it just, but having that time. My old man always used to say, stick the kettle on, have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So I do remind myself going, I'm looking at it and thinking, right, this laptop's going to go out that window. And I think, okay, no, hang on, let's have a cup of tea. Stick the kettle on.
It's great to have those coping mechanisms though, because in the past, maybe the laptop would have gone out the window, or you would have just given up
the
whole day.
Table would have gone out the
window. You learn how to sort of not coach yourself. You learn how to deal with your own how you are.
But understand it's okay, and understand it's like, look, hey, there's a lot to do. Like Joey said, there is a lot to do. There's always going to be a lot to do, and it's it is tough. It is tough. Yeah. I've definitely had times where I'm like, God, this is cover over the head sofa. See you later. I'll see you.
Absolutely.
I'll see you.
Worse than just having a blow up. I mean, I've had enough of those, and just sometimes I just think, oh God, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And it just blew up. Lose your temper.
Yeah.
And you just regret it. I mean, it sounds good. It feels good in the instant where you're letting this off, but it's not. It's the worst thing you can do.
It's never a good thing.
No, it's not.
It's never a good thing. It's learning to control. But there's so much involved with running a business because there's always things that life will throw. Those little things that will, get you just what you think. Oh, fuck!
Well, like Jack said, just that you can see the phone ringing. You're like, that's the van broken. You know what I mean? Like you're good, cool.
Yeah. Oh, another problem.
Yeah, nice.
And you've got to deal with it. Yeah, it's just dealing with problems, and it's. I think it's it's a tough job, but you've obviously done it very well, and you cope pretty well.
I cope with it better now than I used to. I used to really struggle with any problems.
Yeah.
But I think I've just a lot of experience.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the thing is as well, like, not you know the lows, but you know the highs. Like I was with the team today and jumping on the tools today.
Yeah.
Jumping on the tools today with the boys. We've got dumpers, rollers, going around and just having a crack with the lads.
Just enjoying
it. And I was like, this is epic.
Yeah.
Like we've got 4 lorries coming tomorrow. We've got we've got this, and it's just like, God,
and I think they're the things you should really enjoy. The moments you should enjoy, because
totally.
That counts. It's okay. You can make a lot of money. You can do all this and that, but actually having those moments where you're enjoying it and you're in your flow. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. That's the most important thing I always thought about. Running a business.
And when you're feeling like that, that's when you can get loads done. When you're feeling it, when you're struggling and you're overwhelmed and your list seems endless, when you've had a great day and you're on top of the world and then you're doing some work in the office, you can get loads done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're motivated and
it's easy, isn't it?
It's easy and it's enjoyable and you think, oh, that's brilliant, that's another thing ticked off, and it's just getting in the right mindset. But I think everyone has these struggles.
All of them.
They do, yeah.
The ups and downs. It's like it is a roller coaster. I say it a lot actually, but
but I think that's why it's nice. It's nice catching up with everybody as well, because I've noticed that because I thought I was on my own with that kind of stuff. I really thought I was on my own. I was the only one, and it's nice being able to communicate, you know, when we meet up and, you know, it's like, how are you? And you kind of look at each other. The first thing, you know, back in the day, you'd say, how's things going? Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You know, and then suddenly me and you look at each other, it's like, how's things? And you go, oh, mate, me too. Give us a hug.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like,
Nice.
we, you know, it's all right, you know, and it's understanding that, you know,
supporting each other, and we're all
Totally.
a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the whole idea with business now. It always used to be a lot more sort of, you know, guarded and secretive with other companies. It's collaboration now. It's collaborating with as many people as. I don't see there's competition.
No.
You've got lots of landscaping companies. It's like, how can you help each other?
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's, you know, so that's the best thing. Right. Well, we're well into our time. So anything I haven't asked you, or any other final points you want to raise, Jack, before we close?
I don't think so.
You've got a website, haven't you? So
yes.
What's that?
It's gardencreationsltd.com.
Right. Okay. So people can find out more about you from there.
They can.
Excellent.
And our Instagram.
That link goes straight to my website though.
So I jacked it.
No, that's great. No, I mean, from our perspective, you know, thank you for coming on. Really enjoyed the chat.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm just delighted about your company. It's gone really well, and it's nice to show that you can do really well in landscaping. It's
definitely
an inspiring story.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, wrapping up from Ryan.
See you next time, team.
Great stuff. And just a shout out to everyone else who's listening. I mean, I think the listening figures have gone up considerably. Thank you to everyone out there for listening. Keep listening. Keep commenting on Spotify. If you can review us, anything like that would be good. And we'll see you next time for another Outside Crowd podcast.